a second because I didn't prepare the hi everyone. Hello. I'm sorry, I just didn't prepare for the stream properly, and so my camera batteries are off. They're all decharged, so give me a second. I just need to set them up. What should I unplug? This one seems to be disconnected from everything. Hi there everyone, by the way. Hi, how you doing? Hope your day is going well. Hi, you should have waited a bit. What do you mean? Give me a second. The camera will turn off in a bit because it's really low on power. So I do apologize about that. Okay, now I'm ready. So, hello everyone, welcome into Vietnam Lashim. How you all doing? I'm really exhausted. I really am. The last couple of days has been rough, and every single day I thought it would be the day I finish a video, but I didn't, so I don't even have much of a silver lining for it. But you know what they say, the show must go on, and as such, it shall. Here it is. You sound like you got shot and just kept streaming out of spite. It's been rough. It's been it's been pretty rough. But the package that came yesterday. Where are my tweezers? I need my tweezers because they have. I could open it with a diode, I suppose. Can I open it with a diode? The video's no, it's not the video. The video is just an additional layer on top. It's just been a rough couple of weeks. You know, it's kind of culminating. You know how sometimes basically you just put off solving problems for later because you figure that you're gonna solve them later, but you don't actually end up solving them later, and so then eventually you realize, oh my goodness, I haven't solved that problem. And then you realize that you don't actually have any good solutions to the problem. And basically where I'm at. And as I mentioned, the show must go on, because, you see, I've gotten this. And this is it's a board with surface mounted, this is basically like a, what we called, I'm sorry, I'm just a bit tired. This would be an adapter of the surface mounted to, hi the Terfta, hi, adapter of surface mounted to pins. I bought like 10 of them or 11 because it just seems like a highly cutsy. It just seems like a useful thing to have. And as such, what we will attempt today at the very least will be to take one of the motor drivers, slap it on top, and ideally we'd like to solder it on top. It's not going to be easy, I imagine. Also, it looks like it's going to fit on the wider side, which is nice. I do like the idea of being able... It's really dark in my office, I know, but it's 3 in the morning, so... I really like the idea of... Oh, that is perfect. Great. Now, soldering methods for surface mounted are a bit different from typical soldering. That's because this isn't really. This is more chemistry than anything. Fortunately, I got some. Hi, Detefta. Oh, that's actually perfect timing you have because I'm unpacking the chemicals. I've got some flax, some soldering acid, and solder paste. So
Awesome. You have flux?
oh,
That's great.
I have everything. I don't know if I should show this. I'm just gonna do a sponsorship on accident, but I've got solder paste, soldering acid, and soldering flux, and then also soldering solder.
Awesome. The flux is gonna be your best friend.
Oh yeah, I know, for the surface mounted especially. I'm glad that I'm taking my time with this and I'm actually doing it properly. That's really nice, certainly, because then I don't have to like half-ass anything. I can actually focus on it and do it proper.
That's awesome. Those breakouts are so useful.
Go to sleep, mate. No, I promised a stream. I promised this stream. And promises must be kept.
You didn't promise a 4 a.m. stream.
No, but I promised like 4 hours ago that I would stream in about 4 hours.
Oh.
Besides this, I'm not
Why?
gonna be able to finish the video today anyway. I'm feeling a bit spent. This is the close, like working with electronics is the closest thing I have in life to rest. So I am looking forward to this actually. I imagine it's going to be quite painful because, well, my hands are shaking a bit, but that's not even the coffee. I haven't drunk any coffee in 12 hours, 10, something like that. Last stream I was already drinking tea. But I imagine if I just you, Teft, can correct me on this. Actually, it's really convenient to have you here. I do have to say, I cannot thank you enough for joining because this, will probably, I understand the theory, but I still would like you to correct me on if I'm wrong.
Can I tell you a snafu? Because I got my new boards in today, and I have a mux, a multiplexer on the back. It has like, I don't know, 24 pins, and I had the wrong footprint. The piece I got was like 1/4 of the size of the footprint.
Oh my god.
Oh.
But I just have to buy the same component in a bigger footprint, and it's only $5. I just have to wait 2 days.
Oh, that's
so
good.
I'm super bummed.
It is the most annoying kind of mistake though, because then it's just waiting, the least fun part. Yeah, I understand that. By the way, with the theory of this, if I understand correctly, if I wanted to do it. Also, is there a difference between flax and solder paste? I don't actually know.
Yeah, so solder paste is like a liquid solder.
Oh,
right?
so like
it's actually there's flux in there, and there's like shavings of solder, like super small spheres. Flux is
just flux.
Literally what allows you to weld onto any metal.
All right, so apply flux onto it, put the thing on top, heat it up using the soldering iron, and then apply the solder, or should I do it with just solder paste?
Solder paste would be pretty easy. Yeah. So,
wait, do I just
how are you gonna apply it though?
Like, do I just scoop it up a bit and then put it on the thing?
Yeah, it's like a silk screen. Imagine like you're trying to scrape evenly 1/3 of a millimeter of that stuff on it.
1/3 of a millimeter? That's a bit rough. Do I just like take this and then just put it on? I don't know. It feels very.
Oh, that's just flux too. Let me see what that is. I'm not used to that stuff that you're using. Yeah, I would just.
All it says is solder paste. That's
solder paste.
And then there's operating temperature if that helps.
Yeah, is that? That doesn't look like soldering paste. That looks like resin that you have there.
That might be resin. I mean, it says solder paste. That's I think that like that's what I that's the description I bought it based off. So that's all I know.
Yeah.
I could do the flux.
Usually it's gray. It should be like a gray liquid. Look like.
I do have to say, I don't know if you can see it on stream because my lighting is horrendous, but you can see like what looks like dust inside. I know if you get that impression across. Or it could just me and listening to you describing it and then...
It doesn't look like solder paste.
Yeah, I can just do the flux. So, but then how do I apply the soldering solder?
So what you should do is what's the best way to do this? Do you have that copper wick stuff?
Copper
That
wick.
it's like copper that's braided into a cord.
I have this, which I never can. Well, applying solder for what do you want? What should I use a copper wick for? Exactly.
Yeah. So like what I would do is I would just solder it normally, and you're gonna get a whole bunch of extra crap on it. Then I would apply flux on top of there, and then use literally like pieces of copper to suck the bad solder from
Oh
the
my goodness,
piece.
that's genius. Okay, yeah.
Right. And so that's how I would do it with what you have.
Okay, first I need to.
And that's what I did with my board. Like I soldered it, and like everything is like connected together, but I just put on solder, I just put on flux, and then I had my little copper wick, and I applied heat, and it sucked up all the excess stuff.
By the way, the things you mentioned that go before the lens, I talk with a filmmaker friend of mine, or photographer filmmaker, and they also send me a couple of links that they will recommend, and I think I'm gonna get some just for a video for close-up shots like this.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, this is really good. Like,
I mean,
whatever you have.
this already looks good, but but my lighting situation, that's the only thing I'm worried about, because that's gonna need a lot of work. Okay, so if I remember correctly, all I need to do is just solder it on two sides, and then I'm good, because then it's gonna at least stick in place.
Yeah, one pin. I would just do one pin so you can still pivot it. Because once that one piece of solder dries or cools, it's going to be welded in place.
Make it. You should check out the design for Stereo AM. It's not relevant to anything, but this thing is cool. Stereo AM? What is that? That feels like a very common name. Or just designed for any stereo. Yeah, also have fun stuff. I already mentioned it, but I'm gonna mention again. Last stream, I I accidentally forgot you were there, and I still feel terrible about that. Okay. This is going to be great, I imagine. I cannot foresee a single way in which this would go wrong. Okay, like first of all, stay in place. The things. Oh, I just mentioned it.
I would put flux on it. It doesn't really matter. Put flux on it just because it'll make it super easy to solder. And it gets you used to flux. You can literally like lather flux everywhere. Just make sure to wash your hands and stuff.
I'm just not gonna touch the flux. That's why I have these for my pincers. Are the pincers? Whatever they are.
It's a good name for them because they're not quite pliers or.
Yeah, I mean, I bought them for surgical reasons, but I have. It's just one of the things I have is a surgery kit. Just
oh yeah,
my goodness, honestly, it's like a battered up toast, always the wrong way.
Yeah. Usually, what people do is they just lift it up and drop it because it's usually a 50-50 chance it.
Honestly, that's
no, seriously,
smart.
that's what people do.
That
they literally just
smart.
Lift it up and drop it. You're pro already.
It would be really good news if I'm pro already, considering how I've never done this in my life.
You're good. You're not afraid of too much solder, so you're just laying solder down and welding it.
Oh yeah, touch of my bare hands. That's genius, actually. They are anti-magnetic, but I imagine they still conduct temperature, so.
Yeah, it doesn't. I wouldn't worry too much.
It's only 500 degrees Celsius.
I would put like if you can put exactly. The tweezers in one hand and then solder the other. There you go. Perfect.
My goodness,
and I usually solder the opposite side pin to let me know that it's lined up.
I can't wait till I have the new workshop setup or new lab. I'm gonna call it the lab from now on because I feel like I'm reaching a point in my specialties where I actually won't feel bad calling it lab. I can't wait till I have my new lab set up because then I'm actually gonna get some additional angles, additional cameras, and I plan getting a GoPro for the wide angle, and then add the rings before the lens to my main camera for the close-ups. And I'm gonna have the close-up from the opposite side because there's like an open kitchen. I'm gonna turn kitchen into a lab, which is a very me thing to do. And the reason why it'd be nice is because I'm gonna have monitors to my left, and so if I want a really close-up look of the thing I'm soldering from the opposite perspective, I can just look at the screen. And that's going to be, first of all, great for the purpose of the stream, and second of all, just great in general, useful. A neat soldering tip for anyone out there who actually needs one is counterintuitively, you don't want to solder with your soldering iron. You actually want to solder with the piece of metal. I know it doesn't make sense, but just trust me, it should make sense.
Nice.
I honestly think a blowtorch solderer might be better. I messed it up. I connected all of them. In a single swoop, I've managed to connect all of them. Is my audio terrible, by the way, when I move to the side? Like, is it...
It's quieter, but it's not terrible,
okay,
no.
it's okay. Because I imagine it is way worse. I am moving away from my microphone quite a fair bit. I have a precision knife set, so I can just cut up the solder if I want to.
That looks pretty good.
I would say so. Okay. Oh my goodness, there's only... No, it's bad actually across the board. I think about. I was about to say that there's only one additional connection, but it is actually terrible.
Yeah, you should. That doesn't really matter as long as each of them are soldered and they have solder connected to each pin and pad. What you're gonna do is apply more flux and wick up the rest with some copper.
Okay. Everyone has solder on it. That's good. So now you say apply more flux. Just
apply flux. And what do you have to soak up the solder? You need like more copper.
I imagine you want as much surface area as you can get, which that's a bit tricky with my... Although, if I just get a wire, I imagine if
exactly. A wire.
Oh my goodness, what thing around me would have a wire? Well, not a wire, only the other one. Wait.
Braided wire is the best.
Braided, yes, not solid core. I imagine this. Am I ready to sacrifice my beloved jumper cable? My beloved jumper cable that I overuse. Where have I got my hold on, give me a second, because I am, as always, just one of me up bed. Where are my scissors? There we go. I've got it.
If you have like an old power cable, those are pretty good. Old power cables have tons of...
Oh copper. Yeah, there's another... If I need to, there's another cable. You just reminded me of another cable I could actually get for it. But this does look pretty good. Okay.
And just don't burn your hand, because that when you're gonna be heating up that copper wire, and it transmits heat. So.
Now just fluff it out a bit. Yeah, that looks solid.
Is it copper wick?
You can't even focus on it with the camera. That's a great sign. And just heat it up and collect.
Yeah. And you can put flux on the wire that you're using.
This is like witchcraft. That is just incredible. Yeah, that was just like a magic trick.
Yeah.
My goodness.
especially when things are like super small surface mounted, you can
Hold on, I have a
do that.
magnifying glass on my table, and I still can't tell if they have a connection or not. Well, if I can't tell if they have a connection or not, then that means I need to check. Easy way to check. That's just what do we have a multimeter for? I'm doing this so professionally. That's very out of. I need to make things when I'm exhausted more often. This clearly brings out my inner professional. Oh wait. Oh yeah, they're connected to the wrong. No, that makes sense. This is good. They are not connected.
No, both of those grounds were connected or should be.
All of these are not connected now. But that's actually a pretty bad sign.
What's a bad sign?
It would be great. If not for the
So
fact
a lot
that
of those probably have cold solder joints. So what I would do is take the soldering iron and touch each pin and until you see all the solder melt around it, and then go to the next pin and one by one remelt everything.
from what I gathered, there's one pin that's disconnected.
And that flux can sometimes be resistance in between the probes. But I usually go ahead and heat up each individual pin with the soldering iron.
If I connect
it
these two.
Usually does the trick.
Goodness, why are you like this? This is connected. This one isn't. You're saying just heat them up.
Yeah, heat them up one at a time with the soldering iron because there's probably cold solder joints there. And you're waiting for it to, turn liquid. Yeah, and that looks like it. Each of those are melting good.
There's quite a lot of smoke happening.
Yeah, the flux is going to do that.
Oh, why?
Do you have some alcohol?
Always.
Yeah, you can wash off the PCB with alcohol and a cotton swab or something.
Soldering acid. Which I
I
imagine.
don't know what that does.
I think that's what they use for. I thought there was used for like cleaning stuff before and after soldering.
I've never used it. I'm a novice.
Oh yeah, you apply it to an element and then after you solder it, you just wash it off. I remember I've seen people use it. Chemistry and electronic. That is actually, so funny enough, that is how things are actually soldered en masse. That's because if you think about it, at some point components just get so small that it's just inconvenient to solder them classical ways, for example, like this. And so instead, you just use chemistry, which is especially convenient because chemistry-wise, it's actually fairly easy to make things are soldered because of a special property that magnetic bonds have. Basically, magnetic bonds like being not magnetic, metallic.
I would unplug it from that gator clip because the probe that touches the pin of the integrated circuit kind of press in hard because there's going to be a layer of flux on top of it that acts as a resistor.
I think I actually just realized the problem. I think it just doesn't have enough solder.
Okay.
Because there's almost nothing there. Get on.
Well, so you see how it's beading up on the soldering iron? Wherever the solder beads on the tip of the soldering iron, use that as the heat transfer spot.
My soldering iron
Sometime.
is really dirty. And
Yeah.
so it's just that's why it's so annoying for me to use. I don't really need to clean it. Where's my copper wick? I've placed it somewhere. I just oh, there we go. It's on my knee. Right. Professional.
And you might need to cut off some more because you can oversaturate those too. And I always apply flux onto them as well too. It helps suck up the solder.
Oh, that's hot. We've got liftoff. Oh yeah, we've outdone ourselves. That's really good. Okay, so we have ground on this side. This side is not ground. This is really, really good already because this, well, soldering from now on should be a piece of cake, I imagine. Hopefully.
Yeah, compared to this. Yeah,
this is compared to the fact that I've managed to solder it, like you can still see on the side. The fact that I've managed to solder them on a surface mounted is honestly, I'm still impressed with myself. But this should be the correct way to do it, which is good. Because now all we need, my camera might die any second. I'm charging up the backup battery as we speak, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But what I should do right now is something that, for which I should also change the angle the camera's facing to a more forward-facing one. That's because we're going to be if I had the proper setup, I would need to change the angle. Yeah, I could just switch the camera. Prepare the wires. They can be really short and they can all be the same color because all we really need from them is to act as a wire that we're gonna sometimes I just reach these moments in life when I just want to give up after I'm just one like wire snip away from just completely giving up. This is not what I needed in my day. I'm fine. It's just
I'm flashing MicroPython onto my new boards right now.
any complications yet?
Yeah. I accidentally put 2 charging integrated circuits instead of 1 charging and 1 low voltage dropout.
Well, I mean, you could charge twice as quickly now.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I didn't realize that till the very end. I'm like, hey, I don't remember putting on any LDOs. And then it worked. So I was able to flash one of them. The other one seemed to be broken, but I think it's just my buttons weren't soldered all the way.
Okay. Next time I go retail therapying, I need to also buy some wire strippers because this is beginning to be ridiculous. The only way to describe this lightning is alcoholic. The lightning isn't as bad as it seems. It's actually really good. The bigger issue is that I'm just actually I can fix this.
I gave you a link in the Charity Checkups Discord. Get solder or copper wick. That stuff will last a long while.
The lighting is all of a sudden got much better.
Ooh, that's awesome.
The magic of changing the shutter speed. I shouldn't have trimmed my nails at all. Okay, we're using these because I mean they're right there. It would be silly not to use them.
You don't have scissors?
I do have scissors. They're just I'm struggling. I'm just not doing well.
Scissors. Yeah.
No, it's completely manageable with scissors. It's just that right now I am the problem in this case. There.
Oh.
I've got it off. Jeez. It's been a long week. I just want to start working on this video, the one I'm using the
Heck yeah.
drivers for, because it's gonna be a really fun one.
The behind the scenes stuff is super cool.
Behind the scenes stuff is fun, and this time I've learned from the controller video, and this time I am planning on making the whole thing and only then making a video about it. That's because once I have the whole thing finished, it leads to some annoyances. Like, for example, whenever I free print something or I use a part in the component, then I won't be able to like showcase it on its own in the video. But the plus is that I know exactly what direction I want to go with everything. I need to make stuff up on the fly.
Yeah, it's hard to film and make stuff. Did you see my crappy owl video I posted?
I'm sorry, I haven't had the time yet. I've been from the
worries.
moment I woke up today, which was 14, 16 hours. No, wait, more. Some hours ago, I've just been trying to finish this video off, and I still haven't. I still haven't been able.
You've been up for that entire time.
It's not only up. I've been actively working non-stop. I know I took one break. I went outside to clear my head for half an hour because I just couldn't take it. Yeah, jeez, just piss off. There we go. It's not an efficient way to work. I won't sit here and pretend as if I'm doing it for the sake of efficiency. It's just the only reason why I stayed up the longest, because 6 hours ago I thought I would be done in an hour or two. If I knew how long this would take, then I would be asleep very long time ago. Just mistake on the planning part. Go on playing Baltic. Alright, bye Stump, have a good one. Be careful. I don't trust those dirty Brits. Oh, one thing that worked really well actually. Oh, how have I forgotten about this? I am moving very confidently considering just how hot my soldering iron is. But this, oh my goodness, I've completely forgotten. It works so well for stripping wires.
Oh, razor blade, nice. Careful.
Yeah, because you can feel right as you get to the core, because all of a sudden the cutting through rubber is really easy. But the second you hit the core, you can feel it, and as such, it just works really, really well. There we go, first try. 1, 2, I need 8. I need 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. These are all the wires we'll need. Hi, the Western. Same Western, different account. Oh, I see. I could make like a really neat machine out of this actually. Like something that vibrates the the razor. That would be great for stripping cables or cutting through stuff in general. I just casually came up with something I might actually make. I'm adding that to the list. That is something that genuinely would be useful for me. I don't know what, if there is a specific electronic part that's just used for vibrations back and forth, or if I would just need to achieve this using a simple make it busy, alright? Leave a call or leave a message at the tone. Oh, sorry, it's my multimeter. They're very sassy, it's just the way they are. Honestly, I don't know what's been holding me back. Recently, I got the high after, well, you know what, I can't say it on stream, but after doing you know what, yeah. I've got the high for practical stuff. And the more I think about the retrospect, the more I don't understand why I haven't done these in general in the past. For example, recently I've just been looking through different chemical papers for another video I want to make, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness, all of these are totally things I just can do. And then after reading through the paper, I just right away ordered the chemicals, were all the chemicals necessary in order to... I'm telling a story, shut up! All the chemicals required in order to do what happened in that paper are just like $10 for
Nice.
half a kilogram of one, half a kilogram of another, and then a liter of the third. What you making? I'm making science. I'm making great memories. Considering how close this razor blade is to my finger, I am about to make some memories, certainly. There we go. I'm surprised that my camera is still going. It had 6% power. That's really impressive. It's managed to survive half an hour on 6%. That's really impressive. Oh, my camera is Sony Alpha 6600. 6600,
Okay.
not 4400 like I said last time. I just wanted to clear it up right now because I'm mistaking a 4 for a 6 on that kind of number. That's a pretty big difference.
Well, you know, it's funny is it brought up the 6400, so a lot of other people made the same mistake, and I think that is a full frame, isn't it?
He's making something.
APS-C. Yeah, it has an APS-C, so it's the same as mine. Because I have the two Sony ZV-E10s.
EVE10s, I am not familiar with those.
Yeah, they're like the highest end point and shoot camera.
Saddle
It's
flex,
hard to-
but I get it.
Yeah. But they're not cinema grade because I think the next thing up is like the FX30. But they're all APS-C sensors. Full frame is different, which sucks because APS-C sensors or Micro Four Thirds or whatever, can't remember what the specific name is because I'm also tired. But if you have a 50 millimeter lens and you put it on your camera, it will fit, but it acts like an 85 millimeter lens, so it's zoomed in more.
Oh, I get it, yeah.
Because
Okay.
the physical sensor size is smaller, which means that you're capturing less of the picture and it's more cropped in.
I've got to make the shaking didgeridoo. Because this is just not fun. Alright, that's it. I'm not making the last two ones because... I'm gonna let you all one little secret. I've put the wrong thing on there. There we go. I also have this box right here full of my motor drivers. And in here I also have a bunch of different wires already pre-made from my past experiments and failures. There we go. How cinematic.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Okay, that's less cinematic. I have to move the camera, but there we go. Now all we need to do is just solder these onto the pins, which should be actually trivially easy. I don't want to say it completely because things can always go wrong, but it should, in theory, be trivially easy, especially since I can just pop them in there like this and then just solder. That's honestly great. How do you finish a project? I just get distracted with a new one. You need variety. Also, one thing I would recommend is... I personally work on multiple projects at the same time really often. That way I can focus on the projects that should be most for the time. What's happening with me? How is all the solder just accumulating on the... Look how thick
Yeah.
that dot is. My goodness. That's not the place I would expect the solder to accumulate.
So you see it on the soldering iron, how there's a ball of solder on it? Like that's where the heat from the soldering iron is at. Like if you can imagine each soldering tip has a different spot. And so that's the location that you want to touch on the metal. And it's also oxidized because the tip isn't clean. So it makes it difficult because there's an insulator around the tip of your soldering iron. So you're fighting a lot of chemical processes. So it's not you. It's it's a very difficult thing to do.
Well, I mean, it is me. It's just not my immediate lack of soldering skill, more like my general laziness.
Oh.
I do have a soldering acid right next to me. I could just like plop it in there.
Yeah. If you plop the tip in,
That would
yeah,
fix it.
and clean the tip of the soldering iron, it was going to help a lot.
But I do imagine that's a really quick way to ruin a lot of acid.
That's where I get what is it? Tip resin, tip cleaner.
I have one. Ah, shucks.
That stuff is like looks kind of like sand. Tip tinner.
Oh no, I have one
That's
that's
tip
just
tinner.
like a bunch of metal wires.
Yeah, that's a brush. You want that because that will clean off the tip of your soldering iron.
Yeah, I have it on the
You-
side and I dip it every now and then. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, how am I gonna stick this in there? Like I can just snap it off right now, which is not good. Not something you generally want. Oh, I could pull off actually a really impressive move if I manage to do it. I honestly refuse to believe this work at all because this is metal. Why is this not conducting heat? I do not know. But hey, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. That is just a lovely horse. If my piece of metal wants to all of a sudden magically not conduct heat, I'm taking it. This is the most useful thing. I bought it for like 50 cents online at one of the stores to get free delivery. But it's just been one of the most useful tools I've ever had. Like, I need to bend the wire and there we go. I also use it. It's great. It's phenomenal. It's anti-magnetic. It's amazing. I recommend this sort of tool. I don't know what it is, but this is an unpaid endorsement. I'm giving it out for free. I like it a lot. I also don't know where I bought it from, but it doesn't matter. I'm here to advertise on the behalf of the tool itself, not any specific kind. Any specific manufacturer. Plastic. There we go. I hope you're enjoying your time here, Defta.
Oh yeah, I'm actually programming my device, and I was following my own tutorial on something.
Oh,
to
that
hook it
is
to me.
hilarious.
Yeah, because I forgot how to do it. So I'm like, hey, I made a video and a GitHub repository for that.
I can actually relate to it a bit. Sometimes recheck my own videos for knowledge. I just forgotten. I trust my
That's
past
awesome.
self to research stuff.
It is cool when that happens. I don't know. It's super weird.
I mean, I use your tutorial for MicroPython. I used to use it a lot with the ESPs. Unfortunately, I don't use it nowadays anymore because with the Raspberry, if I'm not mistaken, in the in the SDK of the Raspberry, there's like a button for flashing it from MicroPython, which is insanity to me.
That's crazy. What is that in again? Sorry.
Raspberry Pi SDK, that's the one that they've made. I really like a lot for VS Code, where you can just get an extension, and then in that extension you have everything, and everything works perfectly. Okay, now the problem which I've been delaying. What is your biggest project? The one I'm currently working on. I haven't had that many. Well, no, the Ventum engine. No, the graphical engine I've been working on. That's the biggest. But this is a second. I haven't had that many projects. L911 OS. That's the. What's to remember? L911 OS.
I cannot believe it. I actually soldered on the gyroscope properly. It shows up. I'm speechless. I thought I messed it up.
On the first try?
Yeah.
Impressive. Pretty impressive.
It might be luck.
Doesn't matter. Not looking the gift for the mouth does apply here too. Okay, date sheets. That is not in English. May I have it in English, please? I would really appreciate it. Where did I get it in English before? How am I so bad at this? I've already... This? Give me the date sheet. There we go. Okay, so the third away from me, that's the ground, which means bless me. Now that's the ground. Then the closer one to me, that is the motor. We do need to take our multimeter. My goodness, are we not working? Because that would be very upsetting. Okay. Okay. Time to try it. Possibly fail. Plausibly fail. Probably fail. But hey. What is trying if not accepting the possibility of failure and yet persevering in the face of it? So, outer one is the ground, which means inner one middle should be the VCC, or in other words, it should be power, which we are going to plug in just like so. Oh, the red one's already plugged into power as well. Well, that's just, I guess, convenience. There we go. That is our power. Then the outer ones on this side would be the motor. My depth perception is just non-existent. The outer ones would be the motor, which shouldn't be difficult either. We just plug in the two greens, the two sides of the motor. I love the fact that I'm testing out motors because I don't need to care about the plus or minus. Which, I mean, I guess normally I wouldn't need to care about plus or minus either way, because... Or normally I wouldn't care about doubly, because motor drivers, these motor drivers can work both forwards and backwards, which means they can actually flip the polarity, which is a nice feature. Then on the other side, the outer ones will be the ground, which, would you look at that, I'm even using the correctly colored thingamabobs. Connect them like this. Then we're gonna connect all of them ideally to a common ground, which the easiest way would be like this right here. This will be our ground. You can see the absolute monster of a connector right there.
That's awesome.
Perfect so far. What am I missing? I am missing the last bit, right, which would be our simulated inputs. Which means one of these pins we will need to connect. Let me actually take the yellow ones. Those will be our inputs. One of these will need to connect to the ground. The other one will need to connect to power. And the way we'll do it is by taking a battery, which it's been laying around somewhere around here. I have no clue where. I always forget. Where's my battery? I've used it last time, which to be fair was quite a while ago. Oh, there it is. Our battery, from which we'll take the ground and the not ground. I do have to say though, if I crack open this... Ah, shucks, just go in. There we go. If I crack open the motor, along with all the connections and connection to Raspberry Pi, then if I make a custom PCB for it, the world is my oyster. I've basically cracked all of electronics.
Yes, you have.
Which would be...
And some mechanical engineering as well.
Yeah, mechanical engineering. So funny enough, last time when I was building a bot, what killed me was the mechanical engineering. Everything was working but the mechanical engineering. This time it is the opposite. The mechanical engineering is the easiest part for some reason. It just worked. I don't know, once I started using SolidWorks properly, it just worked. Okay, now this yellow we're gonna connect to the ground, just like all the rest. Just snap it on top. And then this yellow, we're gonna tap on the battery, and that's gonna drive the motor. As we tap this yellow on the battery, then nothing is happening yet. Please work. Well, it would have been a bit cheesy if it worked on the first try, wouldn't it? I imagine I have messed up the soldering. I must have messed up the soldering. Well, easy way to recheck. That's what we like about doing things properly. It is easy to recheck. My biggest project would be school, and finally, I have not done much. Well, everyone hasn't done much at some point. Eventually doing much is the problem. I couldn't help but notice there are only 3 pins on this side. This ground just snapped off. That's already a fair bit annoying. Hey, soldering iron, we need to heat up again. Back to it. My joints are hurting, please help. Oh, my camera died. I knew it was up.
Like
That was
under
really,
10% for a long time.
That was really good timing. I mean, 6%. For what? Almost an hour. That's really impressive.
When you make your custom PCB, don't forget to put battery terminals on it. To plug in your battery.
Battery terminals. Does it mean like a plus and minus pin?
Yeah, I forgot to do that on my board, and I just now realized.
How bad is it actually? Because you do the thing where you like solve the entire thing. Like finding ground, I imagine, wouldn't be too difficult on your board.
That's correct. And I do have a 1 through hole that actually has battery plus, but it would it's going to have to replace where I was going to put the haptic motor.
I do have to say though, if you forgot to add the plus and minus for your battery, if you somehow solve it right now, that would be the most impressive thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Well, there's a workaround because I just have to add a wire. So It's not the end of the world. And I can still use the motor, but
Please just work. Nothing, that's good. Then nothing. If I take
and that motor can run off of 3.7 volts.
No. It shouldn't, at least I hope. I hope it shouldn't. That's because the whole point is that the battery I just use to as a signal.
For the signal.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the actual. What am I doing? I'm not gonna see it unless I. It's kind of dumb of me to do it with. No, I mean it is flashing. The battery still has juice. This battery I've overused and just abused for such a long time. I am impressed that it still has anything left to give. What's more, once I decharge it completely, I just have to throw it away because I am gonna decharge it past the point of no return.
Oh no.
Okay, well, that's upsetting.
It will have sacrificed itself for a noble
For
cause.
the greater good, yeah. Was that game name the one where you like play the surgeon?
Oh, Operation.
Operation, that's what I feel like now. Except I want the beep. Please beep for me. Please do beep. You are not beeping. You are beeping. That's good. What about here? You aren't. It is not soldered. I don't want to deal with this.
You might have to try when you're not as tired.
I might. Ah. I might. I'm dying with this. I am. Oh. The worst part is that I'll have to go to sleep knowing that I actually haven't done the one thing I spend my entire day trying to do, which is making the video. I'll have to go to sleep knowing that I haven't finished it. It's really upsetting me quite a bit. Hi there, Overdog. Hi, welcome. It's possible that I've joined at the end of the live stream, Overdog, because this isn't actually functioning. It's not actually working. If I set it up in a cleaner way, yeah, tomorrow I should wake up, finish the gosh dang video, and then what I should do is I should completely clean off everything off my desk, bring out the technical mat, the technical thing, and then on it very slowly and cautiously set up the entire circuit as it's meant to go to then make troubleshooting process as easy and simple as possible. And then
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, and then that will. What are you doing? I'm trying to. Actually, let me show you and let me explain to you in great detail, or at the very least specify what I'm trying to achieve to a painful degree. You see, this chip right here, this one I'm holding in me pincers. I'm trying to use it. And that's it. That's the entire thing. That's the entire process. This chip. Single little guy. I'm trying to use it. That is the entire thing. You can't see it, but right here if I unclip this cable, you can see it on the board. I've soldered it on there. Not successfully. I'm gonna have to use the soldering acid actually. I could also use. I have a bunch of other acids now I think about it. I could just use them. I have formic acid, sulfuric acid. That should be easy, no? It's simple. Easy, that's relative, that's subjective. It is simple, the idea is simple. The problem is that this is my first time ever actually soldering surface mounted components. And I failed. Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna have to desolder this one, then desolder it, resolder it, check up everything, and then Worst case scenario, I have like 11 more of these little boards. I've ordered backups. I knew this would happen.
It looks like you could fit another one on the bottom on that same one.
I could. Oh yeah, I could. I just thought that I would get a bunch of like bigger ones because I knew that having too few pins would be a problem. Having too many wouldn't really be. There is a lot. For future projects, I really will have to order them as well. They really would be useful for prototyping. I just realized my focus is on the wrong thing. Really difficult. There we go. That's a cinematic shot in it. My goodness. Just wait till I get the lens extenders, and then it's just going to be...
Before you go to sleep, you should check out my video.
Right. I will. I promise I will before going to sleep.
It's a similar, I failed utterly. It should make you feel better. I tried to solder onto the microscopic things, and it didn't do what I wanted to do, and it just wasted a lot of time. But I learned.
He's trying to achieve micro technology with gigantic tools. I mean, my tools are wrong. At this point, I've at least got the correct like components, but my tools are still way off. I have the wrong soldering iron, for example. I have the soldering iron for the big things. I need to get myself one for the small things. I'm not saying that I can't do it with the big one. Like, I could. If I was good enough, I could. But it's more convenient with the one that just heats up, because then you can just move the... You can just do the flux, do the soldering thing, and then you can...
You need a TS100.
TS100, that
Or
sounds like a...
TS101.
That sounds like the name of the Terminator.
Yeah, but the TS101 or the TS100.
Oh, TS1... Oh, that looks so handy.
Those are the best. The soldering tips are expensive, but I only have 2, and they've lasted me a couple of years.
You know what?
And literally, it like applies heat right where it needs to go, and never looked back.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna unfortunately go. I'm sorry for such a short stream, but yeah, I haven't even done the thing I was supposed to. I haven't finished the video. I am done. There, I exit. Perfect. It's been a long week for me, and the worst part is it's gonna keep getting longer. So, but you know, these things just happen. Nothing you can do about it. And for now, that'll be it. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.